This is Madden 19. I'm the coach. You're locked into the NFL on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got a great one on tap between the Seattle Seahawks and the Cleveland Browns.
All right, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Coming up, we've got what should prove to be a good one between the Seattle Seahawks and the Cleveland Browns. This will be taken in at the 1. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 now from the 30.
Party. All right, here we go. Boom, landed. Boom.
On 1st down, Townsend. And he will find his man on the outside. Right off the bat, it's a 1st down to start the drive, 12 yards.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance. He has elite instincts from his linebacker spot. He's able to diagnose the run and flies in like a missile to stop that one behind the line of scrimmage.
And some room to work. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. 25 yards to pick up there, and also a 1st down.
Would you say this offense is locked in right now?
They're having no trouble on this drive. What is it, 3 plays, 3 first downs?
Yeah, you talk about on the march. They keep this up, they get to that end zone real fast.
Got his man complete over the middle. That's Higgins. And he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. A gain of 6 there on 1st.
One thing we do know, he's going to get his catches. So as they move forward defensively, got to continue to focus on not giving up the big play when he does catch the ball in secondary.
Finding his safety valve here. That's complete. And he went backwards. He'll be down at the 30. It'll be a loss of 1, and they're going to face a 3rd down.
That was well defended, and while it was a completion, it resulted in a loss of yardage. It's really, really hard for a running back to think to himself, I probably should have just dropped it and saved the yardage. It goes against the entire training that he's had his whole career.
He'll wind up being stopped for no gain, and it'll lead to a 4th down. Now, the old pass completion for no gain, not something you want to call up out of the playbook too often.
Yeah, most offensive coordinators don't have that on their play sheet, so they've got to go back and scramble after this one. But right now, with what they're telling receivers about making sure you take care of the ball in open field, sometimes the fighting for extra yardage doesn't come as a result. That and good tackling can lead to no yards gained.
This one across the 35. Solid way to start the drive. 13 yards, picking up the 1st. He was well over 100 yards last week. He told us this week, a little ambitious, said he wants to hit that 200 mark. We'll see.
Makes sense, though, doesn't it? Have we ever run into a running back that had a great game the week before that didn't think that's just going to naturally continue? Just make sure you feed me the football. And that's what they're all about. Continuity, rhythm, number of carries. Just keep giving it to him.
That one, 28 yards on the ground.
That outside handoff to the left, that play has to warm the heart of an offensive line coach because they controlled the left side where they were supposed to. But they didn't allow anything to leak from the backside on the right side of the offensive line either. Well played.
Yeah, and it created a big run. And he finds a man on the crossing route. And he will score. Touchdown, Seattle. In for the score. And the Seahawks have taken a 1st quarter lead. Some quarterback drops to throw, looks over, and boom, a guy that wide open, he has to be thinking, wait a minute, this is some kind of a dream. This is too easy.
Yeah, a great dream. One you don't want to wake up from. But for the defense, almost feels like there was a bust in coverage.
This fielded at the 2. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the way and bring up second down.
And they'll run it here. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
Back to throw. Townsend, throw right side, caught by Davis. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. They do get 12, but they'll be marked short. And that leads to a 4th down.
He wasn't the primary target, but I think it was almost like a check-down situation, wasn't it?
Yeah, hoping he can break some tackles, a big tight end, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah, get into that big frame and hope he can scatter something.
Alongside my broadcast partner, Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin hits the Seahawks with a football to begin quarter number 2. They take over 1st and 10 deep in their own territory. And he'll take this forward only up to about the 7. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, this big defensive lineman will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Wide open receiver complete. And he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like, yeah, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. A big play that time for the Seahawks. 43 yards.
Similar to a slant, it's all about timing when you're throwing a crossing route. Quarterback and receiver have to be in sync, and when they put it on them just right and catch it full speed, running through a defense, can often result in a big pickup of yardage.
The 20. Oh, and now he bowls him over. And they will finally get him down, and now penalty flags coming in as well. And they might get half the distance here to
face
boot.
mask. Defense.
Charles, did I just hear that right? They declined the personal foul. 3 yards. They just declined them.
And I have to think that the official is thinking to himself, did I just hear that correctly, that you declined that one? All I can think of is that someone on the field got confused. Because he had to, because you're going to take the yards on that penalty each and every time.
That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. It's 2nd and goal, back to the 8-yard line now. They'll set up to throw. And this is caught for a touchdown. Now hold everything here. Flag in the backfield. This one might be coming back.
Holding offense.
So reverse the celebration. We'll see if they have something else in their bag of tricks.
And isn't that always tough to watch when they score and you see the excitement, and then when they realize those points aren't going to count? Can they get it back together and find their way back to the end zone?
As his guys are in for 6, and the Seahawks add on to their lead. Now he's having a nice little first half here, partner.
And it's a first half that leaves us anticipating what can still come. I mean, 2 touchdowns already here through the 2nd quarter. There could be plenty more before this game is over.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Browns offense heading back out to take possession. And with this deficit, you can't have too many more drives like the last drive where you had to punt it away.
You know what I would tell my offense right here?
Here we
The
go.
punter doesn't exist, guys. He doesn't even exist. He's not a team anymore. I just cut it.
And this throw will be intercepted. Picked off at the 18. Then he will bring it back to about the 11-yard line. If you combine last week and this week, he's got a hat trick going because he had 2 interceptions a week ago.
He's seeing the ball so well and understanding where receivers are and positioning. I mean, just watching him work with such great technique and paying it off by actually catching the ball when he has a chance, he's helping his team in a huge way.
And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
Holding offense.
Can see this quite a bit on running plays with the guys out wide. A lot of times, though, it doesn't get caught.
You're exactly right, because it's away from the play usually, so a lot of it goes undetected. But I know this will surprise you. I coached some receivers in the offseason. We worked a lot on hand placement and blocking downfield. Might want to take that.
And he is in for the Seattle touchdown. A great play there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead. Extra point splits the uprights.
Well, partner, that was another explosive run. And one thing I've learned in our time in this game, yes, the offensive line has to get a lot of credit, but for big runs to occur, the wide receivers have to block well downfield.
And then you have to have a good guy carrying the ball too, right?
Oh, without a doubt. You need that difference maker lugging the rock.
Here comes the field general leading his offense back out there for the next possession. He's got to dig deep here, doesn't he? Team's losing. He's not playing well either.
And they always tell you, don't press. You'll make things a little bit worse. But in this particular situation, you try and heighten your play a little bit. So far, he's thrown 1 interception. He wants to balance that off with at least 1 touchdown pass in order to get his team back moving forward.
Now the first play of the drive there is incomplete. And that one goes incomplete. They tried something out of the bag of tricks, but it's incomplete and now 2nd down.
All right, here we go. 3-19.
And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. It's a gain of about 3, but it's going to leave him with 3rd and still 7 yards to go.
Set. 3-19.
Operating from the gun. Townsend throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And he's going to have the first down at about the 38. 9 yards on the pickup there, and it keeps the drive alive.
Here we go.
We always talk about having to read defenses and how complicated that is. Well, this was an excellent read. Read the pressure and got rid of the football before it even got to him for a nice game.
And when they're blitzing like that, running back usually a good spot to go with the football?
Without a doubt, because he's right in your sight line or he's near you. So you're able to just get it to him easily. And once he gets in space, that's usually a good matchup for him.
2 minutes remain here in the first half. More from Cleveland after this.
All right, here we go. Green, 39.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Townsend. That's brought in by Davis over the middle. And he is down deep into Seattle territory.
Holding offense.
Now that's one they hate. The ball's got to come all the way back.
So that's an explosive play, a really explosive play that gets wiped out, and they have to start over after the penalty.
3-19.
To throw on 2nd down. Townsend firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down. Throwing on 3rd and long. Townsend. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back. Complete. And a nice little quick spin move before he's dropped. And a pretty good gain. They pick up 10, but it'll still lead to a 4th down.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there. And they rallied and made the tackle.
The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And we'll see how this is played. Offensively, they've got the lead. Not a whole lot of time left. What do you think, Charles?
Well, it's tempting to try and add to your lead, but a mistake there, that can change things in a big way. I say go ahead, take the knee.
Defenders giving chase, but I don't think they're going to get there. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. A big play there with touchdown number 20 on the year. And the Seahawks add on to their lead. And his kick is good.
I heard a coach talk about those late-in-the-half scores, especially ones that give your team a pretty decent cushion. He said those could be the ones that can finish off a squad if you let them.
Yeah, they've got the cushion. This half has been theirs. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And now the Browns coming out on the field. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk is a big decision here.
So a decent game, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. Only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
Here we go now.
Looking to throw. Townsend. Quick hitter here. It's complete. And now we won't see a play on first down. We're going to get a timeout instead, as the clock will stop with 35 seconds to go in quarter number 2.
Here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
On first and 10, Townsend. Pressure comes. He's taken down by the Seahawk defense. And before this second down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout, as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play.
Now let's go. 3-19.
And on the ground they go with a running back. And he'll be tackled at about the 35. And now the Seahawks are going to take a timeout here on defense, as they'll stop the clock with 26 seconds to go until halftime.
Now let's go. Green 39. Green 39.
To throw on third down, Townsend. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. And now the Seahawks are going to call another timeout, as the stoppage will come with 23 seconds to go till halftime. So possession goes over here on the punt. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. Final 12 seconds of the half now, as they've got it first and 10. Now a play fake here on first down. Escaping the pressure right. Going deep for Benjamin. Oh, wide open. Complete. A big play there just before halftime. 46 yards. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for first and 10. And with just 1 second remaining in the first half, they'll call the timeout. So here's a first and 10 at the 38. They'll throw now on the final play. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And with a clock reading zeros, he is into the end zone. What an exclamation mark to the end of this second quarter.
Indeed. Indeed.
And they extend their lead, a little added cushion into the locker. And now, due to apparent time constraints, we fast forward to the beginning of the second half. So we've come upon halftime with the visiting Seahawks. They're out in front. The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to come back onto the field. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. And not much there as he gets it up to about the 5-yard line. 1 yard officially on the pickup, and it'll leave him with a 3rd and 11.
Well, let's go ahead and detail this situation here. 3rd and long coming up, back near your own goal line. I would be very hesitant about throwing the football in this situation.
Maybe just run up the middle?
Yeah, I think that might be the spot for them. You got to try and find some space for your punter, because you don't want him backed up where he has to alter what he does.
So they took a shot there on 3rd down, couldn't get it. Now it's 4th.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
They're indeed going for it as they look to throw. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And they will not be able to hook up there. It's incomplete. Here's the Browns now. They get set for their first possession of the third quarter. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red.
Oh, batted at the line and intercepted. Picked off at the 16. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. He's at it again, Charles. He had the pick six last week. Not a pick six here, but an interception.
It's another Oski, because that's the word we use when we intercept a pass. Oski tells your team to rally around and block for you. Well, that worked really well last week because he had made it all the way to the end zone. This week, he got the Oski, maybe not a touchdown, but boy, he's playing really well.
Call it a loss of 2 on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 12.
Hey, a lot of points have been scored in this game, but what a nice play by the defense. Stepping up on that one. Maybe they'll get things going in their direction after a play like that.
And he's got some space here. And way up past the 35 before he's taken down. That's good for 21 yards and a first down.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Now this time he'll look to throw. Wide open receiver complete. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. A big play there with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Seahawks are running away with this one. Extra point right down the middle. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky Country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And the interception thrown in the red zone last time. We'll see if they can rebound.
I just have to think the last thing he said as they went back out there was, don't do that again. What do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that. I think that not only did he say that, but he also told him, let's put it in the end zone.
And nothing but daylight ahead. Past the 20. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Browns touchdown. A great effort there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Browns able to get this one back to within at least some measure of respectability. Well called, well blocked, and then he just made a great play. That was an athlete going a long way.
Yeah, how about the suddenness, too, of just getting there and taking off and going? For the defensive guys, plays like that really hurt.
Point after, right down the middle. So they do get 1 score back, but still a long way to go here in the 3rd quarter. And a fair catch taken here at the 5-yard line. Interesting. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. The last time out, another touchdown, and I think there may be some empty seats around here by the time the 4th quarter comes around.
Yeah, I have to agree with you because this one's just about decided. But you know who benefits from all those empty seats? You and me, trying to get to the airport. The roads would be fairly clear by the time we have to leave the booth.
And all the way down to the 29. A big play there on the catch and run. 65 yards.
That was a nice pickup, some chunk yardage there. Some of those big yards downfield with a little bit of rack thrown in there, a little run after catch. They came on a crossing route.
And he is in for the Seattle touchdown. In for the score. And the Seahawks offense continues to pour it on.
In order to lead in a game, you're going to get plenty of contributors, but that's his 2nd touchdown catch of this game. He's one of the key guys in this one.
And you better believe he'll be looking for the hat trick here as this one continues to go. Extra point splits the uprights, and the lead will swell by one more. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And coming off a one-play drive that was so deflating for the defense, what's their mentality? How do they rally here and stop this offense?
Well, hopefully there's some determination that sets in because they weren't ready to go on the last one. Give all the credit to the offensive guys for getting it done, but to allow a run of that length, that's just not being prepared. So now, are they determined? Are they ready to read their keys and make the proper plays?
And we'll see how determined they are. Line of scrimmage, again the 25, 2nd and 10. Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Townsend. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down. We have not seen a whole lot of wide-open receivers. Everything seemingly has been contested.
And that's another nice job there to force an incompletion. They've been very cohesive, knowing each other's moves all game long, and they've been on the spot just about every time.
And they've held them in check on the scoreboard. Now yet another incompletion here as they fail to connect on 3rd.
There are a good number of coaches that any time they call an in route are really worried about the play because there's so much traffic ordinarily that the ball has to get through to get to the receiver. And on that play, it was batted down.
The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. They've really distanced themselves. They have put the pedal to the metal, I guess, so to speak.
So definitely have them in the rearview mirror, don't they? I mean, you're exactly right. Being able to string together these drives that end up in points, it's almost like a run in basketball to create that distance, and they're on a really big-time one right now.
It becomes contagious, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, because oftentimes it translates to your defense as well, because they're excited about getting the ball back for their offense that's playing so well.
Well, they are clicking right now. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. A good pickup there, 26 yards. And he's top 5 in the league in terms of receiving yardage because of plays like that. What have you seen from him on film that you like so much?
Well, I'll strip away everything else and get to what we call the moment of truth. When the ball's arriving and there's a defender there, he just comes down with the ball. He competes and takes it away. Great hands, great ability to finish the catch. Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
Finding room inside the 40. And he cuts it back right, and he's got it. And all the way in. Touchdown, Seattle. A great play there with his 2nd touchdown of the game and 5th on the year. And the Seahawks are running away with this one. And he certainly played a pivotal role with those 2 TDs and why they're up on the scoreboard right now.
Well, someone's all about winning, aren't they? Because he's not worried about the number. Sure, it's great to have 2 touchdowns. But the bottom line is what he's doing is contributing to their lead. He wants to continue to do so.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
And they work this well upfield across the 45. And a nice gain of 21 yards. If you're going to blitz, likely going to leave you in man coverage with this guy, and that is less than ideal.
It is, because just about any offense that has an elite receiver, if you blitz and have him in man coverage.
Back now here on EA Sports. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the 4th quarter. A very one-sided affair. Throwing on 1st down. Townsend. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete. So after the incompletion on first, now second and 10.
Lucky 56. Lucky 56. Here we go now. 3-19. 3-19.
To throw again. Townsend, nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And they are going to set up shop at the 32-yard line.
And with that kind of a deficit, you can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. But it's been pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all game with them, isn't it? Down this big in the fourth quarter.
You'd say an afternoon to forget, absolutely. Room here to run. And finally, down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. 25 yards the pickup there, and also a first down.
He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know, well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
And he is going to lose yardage here. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
The short field shrinks even more with the type of bodies they brought in on that play. Those extra tight ends, they weren't able to secure their blocks, and that one ended up going backwards.
It's second and goal, back to the 8-yard line now. They'll look to throw here. This is caught, and he will score. Touchdown, Seattle. A great effort there from 8 yards out. And the fumble recovery leads to 6 points for the Seahawks. So another score there. Often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
They are looking strong here in the fourth quarter. This will be taken in at the 1. And a good effort on the return there. Gets him across the 30 to the 33-yard line. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And last time, not only the turnover, but that turned into 6 points. They got to make up for that here.
We always hear about empty possessions, but some are worse than others. You can have an empty possession, punt the ball away, get yourself set to play defense. But when you turn it over, it changes momentum. And when they take it downfield and punch it in on you, that's a bad possession all the way around.
Yeah, but you're hungry to get back out there, aren't you?
You'd better be, because otherwise it's going to be a long day for you.
Second and 5 after the 5-yard completion on first down. From the gun, Townsend, and Davis has it over the middle. And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. Big yardage there for the Browns, 18.
His position, and he's listed as a tight end, but he certainly doesn't run like one, and that's what we're seeing more and more coming into the league. Those guys who can run, make plays after the catch, and gain that additional yardage.
And using that speed there to turn it into a pretty nice little gain. And they see right through that defensively, as he'll be hit and taken down to the backfield.
The best offenses and the ones that win are ones that make adjustments. And right now, I think this team needs to open things up.
Looking to throw on second down. Townsend throwing the slant pattern here, complete. And he'll get it down on the play to the 37. And they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for third down.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
And this is right down the middle as he puts it through. And they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit. Well, in the grand things, those 3 points likely not going to matter much, but I guess they get a little closer, a little more respectability.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been outplayed all game long, but like my mom used to tell me all the time before I went out, dress up a little bit, son. Make yourself respectable. And that's what they're doing here. They're just dressing up the final score.
And Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup, let him get some time?
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row that were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. These guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game. And that's always puzzled me a little bit. Yeah, let me puff out my chest a little bit, even though I'm not rooting for either team. That was a really nice defensive play. It's awfully fun to watch, even in an offensive game.
And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. He gets them a little over half of what they needed. Now they're looking at a 3rd and 5.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
They'll look to throw. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off down near the 5. And he returns it up just shy of the 20 to the 19-yard line. Their passing game has been spectacular this afternoon. Finally, a win for the defense.
You think maybe there was an adjustment there. Finally gained a measure of, I don't even know if you call it revenge, but got a play done against him, and that's been difficult for them all game long.
Throwing to start the drive. Townsend. And he's able to get up here to the 26. It's a gain of 6 on the play, and that'll make this a 2nd down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to the runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
And a timeout comes in. The whistles blow with 3 seconds remaining. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33.
All right, here we go. Blue 90. Blue 90.
One final shot. They'll look to throw. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off at the 45. And that will write a finish to this ball game. Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run,